Okay. So you should have written down an Li. Now PO4 you keep together, and the reason why you keep it together, you have a PO4 here, and you have a PO4 over there. So if you see that combination of multiple elements together, you keep them together. And then NO3. So you got an NO3 here and NO3 there. So that's what you should have written down over here in the same order. Li, PO4, Zn, and NO3. And then you count them. Okay? You got your sheet? Yeah, that's what we're on. You guys go ahead and count them if you didn't count them. Well, you guys did a good job on there, a lot of you. Got a lot of them done already. That's good. Yeah. Okay. So, this is different. Okay, this is different than what we just went through. We're not drawing them out. All we're doing is we're listing out the ions. So we just list out all the ions, and if there's a combination of two elements like P and O, you keep them together. You got a combination of NO3 on both sides, you keep them together. They're a lot easier to count that way. So we have 3, 1, 1, 2. And over here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 1. Does anybody have questions on that? So sometimes people on this NO3, they'll put 3. They'll have 3 of these. Well, you don't have 3 of them, you have 3 oxygens, but you have just one of those units. Okay? And the PO4, some people will like to put 4 here. I got 4 PO4s. No, you have 1 PO4. You have 4 oxygens, but you have 1 PO4. Okay, so now we can match them up. You do it one at a time. You just do one at a time. So lithium, I've got 3, and on the right side, lithium, I've got 1. So what do I need to put in front of LiNO3? I got to put a 3. Now some people think 2. Well, you put a 2 there, it's like taking 2 times 1 is 2. So it's how much you got to take. So that changes the lithium to 3. Does that change anything else? NO3 to 3. Then lithium's fine. Then you go to PO4. It's not fine. So what do you need to do to get that to work? Put a 2 here, right?
Yeah.
So that changes that to 2. But then that changes this to 6, and we just messed up lithium that we just did.
Yeah.
So then we go back and look at our lithium. Let's try to balance. So you do it one at a time. If something changes, go back and make a change. So then you go back to lithium and go, oh man, really? Do I have to change that one again? Sometimes you might have to do that. So you would make this what? You'd make this a 6. Say, okay, I'll make that a 6 then, and that changes this to 6, and it makes this 6, right?
Yeah.
Now, the nice thing about this, you're down to Zn and NO3, and they're all together. So I should be able to put a number in front of that that will balance out both of them. And what is that number?
3.
3. If I put a 3 there, that changes this to 3.
6.
And then that 3 times 2, people kind of struggle with this because they see that 3 here. And then this 2. This is what you got to multiply the 3 by, is that 2. So then you got 6. And we're balanced. That's a tough one to do. That's the toughest one you'll have to do. Because there's a lot going on there. Okay? So, I'm going to tell you what the balanced equation is for the last 3. And you can see if you balanced them correctly or not. So, now guys, when I do this one, I'm going to do it by what we call sight. So, what does it mean by sight? I'm not going to write everything down below. Okay? And I'll show you how I do it by sight. It's kind of like math. sometimes you have to show 2 plus 2 when you were littler. Did you guys write 2 plus 2 and then add them together? 1, 2, 3, 4, add them up. Now, do you have to do that on paper? No. Like 3 plus 3. I still remember 3 to count it. You go. Remember, you guys ever do this? You go 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
You never did that?
And the 2 you just count.
2, 1, 2. Never did that? 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, that's when I was real little. Okay, a couple years ago. Okay.
I still do it.
Yeah, I do too. It's like crazy, but it's still in your memory. And then 5, you can do 5 that way too, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I mean, you just go to every single edge and like a 5.
But then you get the 6, and then that's just
Good thing I can only count to 5.
yeah. So you guys don't have to show that anymore, right? You're like, I'm past that. So you guys will get, some of you, not all of you. Some of you need to still write down your elements just like we did and account for every element. But some of you can go, all right, iron, I've got 1. Over there I got 3. So what do I need to put in front of that?
3.
Put a 3. Then I go to the next one. All right, there's 2 hydrogens. Over there I've got 2. They're good. Then I go to oxygen. Well, I've got 1 there and I got 4 over here.
So you have 4.
So then I got to put a 4 in front of that.
But then your hydrogens, you got to put
So
4.
right, so then I got 4 oxygen. So if I had them drawn out here, I would do that and I'd cross out and I'd write how many I had. And if you notice, you got 8 hydrogens. Here I'd put
8.
You have
Oh,
4 to get 8. And then you go back and double check everything. So then you go 3 irons, 3 irons. 4 times 2 is 8 hydrogens, 8 hydrogens. 4 multiplies through the whole thing, so 4 oxygens is balanced. So at some point in time, and it might start today, that you guys will start doing this by sight, where you don't have to write it down. You can just go and now if you need to write it down, I have no problem with that. Takes a little longer on tests when you do that, but that's okay. As long as you get the right answer, that's fine. So aluminum, you go to aluminum, doesn't need anything, right? You go to hydrogen, it needs something.
needs 2 on the left.
Yeah, so if you put a 2 in front of there, that means you got 2 hydrogens now, and hydrogens balance out. Then you go to nitrate, NO3. Well, you got 3 and you got 2. So you guys remember, a lot of times you got 3s and 2s, you've got to get them both to what?
6.
6. So it's like, okay, this isn't going to work because I got everything balanced, but the nitrates I got 2 on one side and 3 on the other. So what I need to do is think of that idea that if I get both the nitrates to 6, they will balance out, because that seems to be the common number that I can use. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put what in front of this to get 6? I'm going to put 6. So now I have 6 NO3s. I have 6 hydrogens, so
3.
put a 3 in front of that to get your 6 hydrogens.
And 2.
And then here I'd have to have something multiplied by 3, so that's a 2.
And you got to put 2 in front of the A out.
And then I got to put a 2 in front of the out. Okay, so that one you might have to use the listing them out. And then the very last one's not too difficult. It's probably the easiest of all of them. So H2 plus Cl2 gives you HCl. And so all you have to do for that one is to do what?
Put a 2 on the right side.
And then the H's and Cl's balance. Okay? So I would say this worksheet's kind of unfair because 7, 8, 9 are really difficult. Especially 7 and 9. And so that would be definitely the most difficult you'd have to do. Okay? So what I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to do is to show your skills. of what you learned yesterday and today on this sheet, and you got all period to work on it, you do not, when you balance it, you do not have to, on free, I'll tell you which ones you need to show your work on. I'll tell you which ones I want you to show your work on. And then the rest of them you don't have to show any work. And what I mean by work is you're listing everything down below. You're listing everything down below. And then the other ones you can do by sight. Okay? So,
You need to turn this in. You need to turn this one in.
no, that you can use that as a helpful guide.
Gotcha.
All right. Number 1 and 2. Number 1 and 2. You have to draw out. Okay? Number 4. Number 4 and 5 you got to show work on. So if you want to circle 4 and 5 and then put out to the side work, you got to show your work on 4 and 5. But then 3, 7, 8, 9, and 10 you can do by sight. 1 and 2 you draw out. Like 1 and 2, Jordan, you draw out like we did on your other worksheet you have in front of you on 1 and 2. Okay?